Welcome to the art of Roy. Roy has one of the quickest frame data, as well as one of the quickest airspeed and fast fall in the game. He's also got great movement speed on the ground, and an incredible extended dash dance, which is crucial to master. His sword works the opposite of Marth's. The tip of the sword is a sour spot. However, that doesn't mean it's bad at all. I'll start by going through all of Roy's moves, and then transition into his neutral game, and lastly, his grab game. Jab is designed for Roy to pressure and poke at the opponent to carefully observe their habits and force reactions. Kind of like Diddy Kong's down tilt. It's also used to intercept attempted punishes and approaches. The jab is one of his best moves, since if it connects, it leads to many things, making it effectively one of his better combo starters in the neutral game. You can also connect jab to blazer, which can kill. You can get out of this combo by DIing away. However, DIing a jab that comes out in 5 frames is something that you rarely can react to, unless you're ready for it. This is especially good at the edge of a stage, since players tend to DI inwards in this situation. If they DI inwards or don't DI at all, then the blazer will connect. The only problem is that the blazer itself can have trouble killing if the opponent DIs it correctly, which is by DIing down and away, unless you're playing at a stage with a lower ceiling, like Town and City or Dreamland. If you connect with a sour spot jab, it won't lead to anything guaranteed. It'll just push the opponent away. Although make sure to keep track of how the opponent reacts after this, so you can respond accordingly. At higher percentage, the sour spot will actually start launching the opponent and force attack rather than pushing, which means there's also a chance for an untickable spin to happen. It's also very safe on shield, unless if you space yourself right on the shield where they can shield grab you, although that pretty much applies for almost all attacks in Smash. Forward tilt is pretty much like Roy's forward smash, but a quicker and weaker version. If spaced correctly, it's a safe poke since it's quick and has decent shield pushback, which is good for walling an opponent out. And at high percentage, if it hits, it can kill, since it's really strong, especially with rage. At mid percentage, the sour spot forward tilt will start launching the opponent in a low angle and force attack. Forward smash is easily Roy's most terrifying move, being one of the most powerful smash attacks in the game. It's best to save this for when it counts, because overusing it can become very predictable very fast. It also has a considerable amount of end lag, so it's easily punished. You really need to learn to combine the forward smash with a foxtrot. A foxtrot forward smash is done by inputting dash, then as a dash ends, input dash again and cancel it with a forward smash. This will allow you to punish techs with a forward smash, which you can usually set up with a forward throw. Roy's down tilt is a lot like his jab, in that it's used for poking and pressuring from a distance to see how your opponent responds out of shield, so you can learn how to capitalize on their habits. It also has more range and less end lag than jab. However, it comes out 2 frames slower than jab. At mid percentage, sweet spot down tilt will start launching the opponent in a low angle and force attack. And at high percentage, the sour spot starts doing the same. Roy's down smash is actually one of the few moves that is faster than the tilts. The back hit is significantly stronger than the front hit. One of the most effective uses of down smash is after you've connected the first hit of neutral air. Up tilt is a good quick option to punish opponents above you, At low percentage, up tilt connects after an up air, although I'd recommend grabbing or double edge dancing instead, since you'll get more out of it. And after a bit more percentage, even though up air to up tilt still connects, you should go for an up air to an aerial, since it'll give you a bigger reward. Up smash is a strong killing move. It's also good for covering landings. You can cover ledge get-ups with a jump cancelled up smash. This also has a chance to connect after a one-hit neutral air. Roy's dash attack is actually a lot like Ike's, being a considerably powerful move with high killing potential that's great for punishes against laggy moves, landings, or techs. It can also connect after a forward throw. Neutral air has 2 sword swings, both of which can combo like crazy. The first swing of neutral air is actually considerably better than the second swing, since it leads to many more things and starts way more combos. There's also a special technique that Roy can utilize for the first hit of neutral air. Normally, if you jump, fast fall, then neutral air, the fast falling stops, which will make Roy land kind of slow. Or if you jump, neutral air, then fast fall, Roy will still land kind of slow. Basically, standard fast falling doesn't utilize the first hit of neutral air to its full potential. However, if you set your C-stick to attack, you can tilt the stick to the 45-degree angle to do a neutral air. So, by holding down on the analog stick and tilting the A-stick to the 45-degree angles, Roy will automatically fast fall at the same time as the neutral air comes out. And the fast falling will continue, which will allow Roy to land quicker than normal, allowing you to true combo into moves a lot better. This technique is incredibly useful and important, since it lets you do the first hit of neutral air faster than any other method, and it even allows you to automatically frame cancel it. And by frame canceling it, you can true combo into an up smash or even a forward smash. Forward air works great for combos, and for walling opponents out. This move has also incredibly little end lag while airborne, which allows you to frame trap the opponent that air dodged the forward air. Up air is Roy's quickest aerial, coming out as quickly as his jab. It should only really be used as a frame trap or for starting combos. It can also be used as a combo breaker. Back air is pretty much like forward air, just a bit stronger. It can start up some pretty nice combos too. At low percentage, the weak hit can also reset opponents that miss teching. Down air is pretty much for punishing opponents below you. It could start some special combos at certain percentages. If you sweet spot, it'll spike, and if you sour spot, it'll send them upwards. Flare Blade is the most powerful single hit move in the game. able to instantly KO any character from 0 when fully charged, making it the best punish after getting a shield break. It's one of the only moves Roy has that doesn't have a tipper sour spot, meaning that maximal spacing doesn't hurt the damage output whatsoever. Flare Blade has extremely little end lag, making it an extremely safe move on shields, even when it hasn't been charged, unless it's uncharged and you space it way too closely on their shield, or if you use this move on characters with tether grabs. However, the shield hit stun increases the more you charge the move. If the opponent tries to punish you out of shield, you can always intercept it with, for example, a jab, tilt, double edge dance, or an aerial. This move is incredibly useful if you B-reverse it, to mix up your aerial momentum, retreat and gain some space, confuse and wall out your opponent, since usually when you release it, it's been charged for a little moment and thus it becomes unpunishable at close range. Double Edge Dance is one of Roy's best grounded punishes, and one of his primary damage dealing moves. Something important to keep in mind is that the tipper sour spot of this move actually pulls the opponent into the rest of the swings, while the sweet spot actually pushes the opponent away. This causes some of the swings to not connect, thus making it an unreliable option for when the opponent is in close range and at high percentage. The last upward swing should only be used if you actually want to launch your opponent above you and challenge their options as they try to land. The forward swing is for launching the opponent off stage to set up for an edge guard or to just simply claim stage control. The downward swing is for launching the opponent more downwards and force a tech situation. It also deals the most damage and shield damage. So if you're aiming to break a shield, you should finish off with the downward swing. This move is also really good if you B-reverse it, as you jump in to approach your opponent, to fake out the approach and punish them for trying to shield grab you. You do this by pressing side B backwards, then immediately inputting the analog stick to the other direction. It's also designed to punish spot dodges. Blazer is a decently ranged recovery tool that commands the respect of your edgeguarder, since it's a multi-hit move that has a chance to stage spike unpredictably. It doesn't go very far, but it has a lot of control as to how you can angle it. Blazer is also a viable out-of-shield option in close range situations. It has 1 frame of intangibility at frame 9 and super armor at frame 4 to 10, although the super armor is non-existent when Roy uses Blazer in the air. The knockback is also significantly reduced when you use Blazer in the air. Counter is honestly just a simple counter, used for reads. This can also be good against some recoveries. Roy is all about the right type of aggression. That doesn't mean all-out aggression. It means knowing how to utilize his speed, mobility, and spacing to find one opening and then capitalize with a combo, while also knowing how to defensively wall your opponent out with aerials and tilts. A lot of people tend to believe that Roy needs to get in at close range to get anything done. No. Roy's objective is to literally find a way in by playing around the opponent's shield. Potentially even conditioning the opponent to shield so that you can get a grab, which would be the best opening. And then the objective changes to combo the opponent and stay in their face as much as you can without getting over aggressive and greedy so that you don't end up getting punished. Neutral Air is Roy's main spacing move and his best aerial. It can also be a combo starter, combo extender, pressure tool, and at some situations even an approach. It also tends to be Roy's biggest weakness, because some players tend to depend on approaching too much with neutral air. Approaching like this is punishable and it normally doesn't work. It's not how Roy should be approaching. The two ways of approaching with neutral air is by either spacing it or by jumping through so that the neutral air crosses up behind the opponent's shield. If you approach with a spaced neutral air, you can get an opening by either trying to connect the neutral air or jab. And if you cross up behind their shield, you can intercept their aggression with double edge dance. And approach with one-hit neutral air, if spaced correctly or behind the shield. You have forward air to catch out jump out of shield. And if they don't jump, you can always land behind with an up air. Or retreat, if you don't want to challenge them, for example. You can get an opening with sour spot forward tilt. At high percentage, sour spot down tilt works. You can run in and grab, tomahawk grab, a sour spot neutral air, basically, there's a lot of options, but just blindly doing an aerial on someone's shield is not one of them. Optimal Roy play in the neutral involves the effective use of both ground attacks and aerials interchangeably, covering as many of their options as possible and controlling as much space as possible, not just jumping in furiously. Your main tools in neutral are jab, forward tilt, down tilt, double edge dance, grab, forward air, neutral air, and up air. And also, don't try to punish a 2-frame. Prioritize going for ledge trumps or fake ledge trumps instead. When it comes to killing, many players will begin to rely heavily on smash attacks when trying to close out stocks once percentages starts getting high. This is not a good idea in most situations, as it makes you predictable and thus heavily punishable. You need to be able to not rely on killing with random smash attacks. You always need a kill setup, meaning you always need a setup for the smash attack. Roy has an amazing grab game. The most important part is knowing when to use the forward throw or down throw. On medium weight and floaty characters at low percentage, forward throw is the best option since it leads to neutral air and combos into a lot of damage. At high percentage, the forward throw still leads to neutral air. However, they can avoid it by DIing down and away, although that will force a tech. Down throw is usually the best option against fast fallers at low percentage, since it true combos into an up tilt or jab, and so it puts them into more of a sticky situation where you are in their face and ready to punish their options. Forward throw works well too, although it only leads to double edge dance if they DI away. At mid to high percentage, the down throw starts launching them a bit higher, setting up for an aerial to add percentage. Although at this point, forward throw starts doing the same. Only difference is that they can try to avoid the combo by DIing down and away, which once again forces a tech. This is probably the best thing about Roy's grab game, since it either forces them to eat a combo or to tech. Since some players will try to avoid getting comboed by Roy, they rather DI down and away and play the tech game. This is where foxtrotting and extended dash dancing comes to play. If you successfully read and punish where they tech, you can start a really potent combo, and even score a kill. In some situations, you can even throw out the neutral air, and if you see that they DI'd low and tech, you can usually keep chasing. Up throw is a kill throw at around 160%, depending on weight and if it's fresh and without rage. And back throw is only for throwing someone off stage if you want to try an edgeguard. Credit goes to Zan, Cephlon, Mason, and Rio for helping me out. And if you guys want to support my work and see more videos at a higher uploading pace, I would be very grateful if you donated to my Patreon. And I know that some of you can't afford to help me, which is okay. But if you can, even a single dollar helps more than you think. If you want to learn more about Roy, then check out this video containing some awesome Roy gameplay. Anyways, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe for more awesomeness. By the way, I want to give a shout out to Mode, who has an awesome YouTube channel dedicated to Lucas. If you guys want to check out some awesome Lucas combos, skill setups, and advanced techniques, check out the channel right here or in the description.